So the prerequisites to get in this course, you have an honours degree, which is an NQF 8 qualification in any field, but more preferences in more on the genetics and psychology side. But if you don't have a genetics or psychology background, you're able to write an exam, an entrance exam, to see if you qualify to get into this program.
So it's because of HPCSA regulations. So within the accreditation, they stipulate that there should be a certain supervisor-student ratio, and that also is in line with the amount of clinics that we have. So if they take too many students, there won't be enough clinics or cases for students to be exposed to, and that could potentially compromise the quality of genetic counselors they're going to produce. Another thing is that a significant amount of time needs to be spent with each student so that they ensure that they monitor their growth very closely. So if there's more students that they can handle, that quality becomes compromised. We currently have 2 employed genetic counselors that are employed to train us. So they can't take too many people that they can't closely supervise. So I think that's kind of the idea.
So your internship starts at the beginning of your 2nd year and it continues up until the end of your 3rd year. So your degree is 2 years, but you have an extra year that is your internship. And it's not something that you have to apply for, it's part of the course. However, if you want a paid internship position with the NHLS, then you have to apply.
Okay, so I went on the NHLS website, and there is a tab that lists all the vacancies that are available at the lab. It's usually secular. And then you look under the medical scientists category, and then that's where you would find the different vacancies that are available. So there will be different positions here at Grooteskier as well as Wits. Then you apply, you send your CV as you would with any other job application. And then they call you back, and then after they call you back, they interview, well, they inform you that you will be interviewed, they interview you, and if you make it past the interview stage, then you go on to wait until they tell you that you've got the job or not. So that's how I went about it.
No, you don't have to be. I'm the most introverted person in this team, so I think that's why I got this question. But no, you can be introverts and extroverts. This field welcomes all personalities, so everyone is welcome.
Expect a very competitive process, but know that it's not a now or never situation. You can always try again and do what you can to boost your application, job shadow, join a support group. If you can get counseling exposure like through Lifeline. Asking for help when you need it, that's definitely a strength. Expect to be challenged mentally, physically, emotionally. Find ways to fill your cup and have a good, strong support system that you can lean on.
So we are involved in many things. Our biggest awareness day is Rare Disease Day, which is in the beginning of the year. And we celebrate that at our children's hospital at Red Cross. Every year we do something different, so it really depends on the creativity of the people who are in the program. But we try to involve all our kids and to just have them enjoy the day. Other things we are also involved with is every person that comes into the program needs to choose a support group, and then depending on what that support group wants from you, you can do talks where you educate people, you can celebrate awareness days with them, and yeah, so on that front, that's what happens. Other things is also open days. We get involved in that on our campus. We also do weekly seminars or webinars. We also do outreach, so we can do that in specific schools. We also do other outreach where we go to different provinces, and visit different hospitals, clinics, and then again educate as people need us.
For our MSc Genetic Counselling degree, we need to do a minor dissertation, and generally we are encouraged to do qualitative research. So if you are coming from a science background where you are used to doing quantitative research, it is very different and there's a lot of new skills that you have to learn. So for most of us, our research entails doing some kind of interview with participants, exploring their experiences and their opinions, which then forms the bulk of your research and the data that you use.
So in genetic counselling, you see a lot of patients and you're not always really sure which ones might really hit you emotionally, but they definitely will at some point in the course and through your career. And everyone will deal with it differently. I think the important thing to try and do is to get it out, either through speaking to a loved one or your fellow students, colleagues. They'll understand a lot of what you're going through, and it's important to have that kind of support system. Otherwise, getting it out in other ways, journaling, thinking about it, praying about it, people will deal with it in different ways. But also remembering why you're doing this, why we speak to patients, why we deliver the hard news, and holding on to that, and that your impact will go beyond just your one session that you had with the patient.
So to become a qualified genetic counsellor, you would need to complete an internship of 2 years at an accredited institution. So in South Africa, that being UCT, Wits or Stellenbosch Tygerberg. And then you would complete a portfolio with all the cases that you see during this period. You then submit it to the HPCSA and wait for qualification.
So once you're out of this program, you leave here with a lot of new skills, which opens a lot of doors. So as a genetic counsellor, you can work in private or you can work in state. You can specialize in a particular direction, for example, prenatal or oncology. A lot of people specialize, or again, you can go into general counselling where you cover a little bit of everything. You can also go into research. You can work as a genetic counselling researcher, and you can go into labs as well. So there's actually a lot of opportunities available.
As a genetic counselling student, you learn a lot and you grow a lot as a person and as a counsellor. Saying that, it doesn't take away from the bad days. Sometimes we have a bad clinic, a really difficult counselling case, or even a time where you have lots of deadlines. But your colleagues do become your friends, and there's no one else who really understands what you're going through like your colleagues.
So I work both as a clinical intern and as an intern for the NHLS as a lab GC. And basically you can make the most out of these experiences. You get a lot more responsibility and you can see a lot more diverse clinical cases when you get into your internship. The responsibility increases, but you also get to see a lot of different things in the NHLS role and expand the skills and knowledge that you get from the clinical side. You expand it even further in the NHLS side. So it's a lot of learning, and the more that you dive into it, the more that you'll get out of it.
My name is Sinead. I have been out of internship for just over a year now, and I'm in private practice. Life after internship is different because you are now in independent practice and you are the person that people come to for advice, suggestions, and you need to be prepared. And it's not just knowing your genetics anymore, it's also time management, case management, following up. In private, it's also billing, it's medical aids, the sort of admin that you don't really experience in your internship because you're in government. So it's a learning curve in different aspects of healthcare. You also need to make new contacts, if you move outside of the areas that you were practicing or learning in. So I moved from the Western Cape to home back in KZN and had to make new contacts and set up, a sort of infrastructure here. But as much as it's a learning curve, it's also so rewarding because you're building, either your own practice or you're building a network in the areas that you're working. And I think that is really rewarding in terms of creating, a bigger network in South Africa as a whole.
Am I supposed to go on?
I just want to. Saka, what is it?
So your internship begins at the beginning. So
My name is Lisa, and here we are generally encouraged to do
we have a paid. I'm gonna have to do that again.
What advice do you have for pursuing this career?
Don't do it.
I love this so much. 1, 2, 3. How do you apply for? Fuck toch. I'm gonna delete this.
What did I say now?
I was wondering.
Go.
So, Nossa makes us fine as well.
Is that the question?
I don't know.
Is that the question?
Yes. That is. Why were you like, what advice do you have?
How do you become a qualified genetic counsellor?
So
So